While climate negotiations at the COP26 Climate Summit take off in Glasgow in Scotland, South Africa securing a watershed deal to support its own climate action goals. The EU, Germany, France, the UK and the US have all pledged a collective 131 billion rand over 5 years to help reduce South Africa's reliance on coal. So this package includes grants, loans and investment instruments. The deal will help South Africa transition to cleaner, renewable energy sources and create new jobs. So let's unpack the story now. Joining us for this discussion is Greenpeace's Senior Climate Energy Campaign Manager, Happy Khambule. He joins us from Glasgow, in fact. Also joining the discussion is Thato Kola, Economics and Fixed Income Analyst at Matrix Fund Managers. To both of you, thanks very much indeed for your time. Thato, I want to begin with you because I want to just talk about this 131 billion rand and, in effect, what will it mean for a country like ours, the most reliant on coal for our energy in the world?
Good morning, Michelle, and good morning to all your viewers. Great to be here. As you rightfully mentioned, it is a watershed moment. The deal it shows a signal of intent from the South African government and from also developing countries around putting steps in place now to really drive home and fast-track the reduction of greenhouse gases. I think for the South African economy, it provides much-needed finances to fast-track our transition to a low carbon economy, and it's obviously more will need to be needed in future, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So Happy, you're in Glasgow, in Scotland for COP26. What's in it for these countries to come together and effectively come to South Africa's aid in this way?
Yes, hi to you and hi to all the listeners. Look, so what is key really out of the partnership that has been announced is that these countries are wanting to communicate that they are now at least starting to see the potential of South Africa. They're starting to see that if South Africa doesn't transition, the global goal around reaching, at least limiting global temperatures to 1.5 is not going to happen. Because if South Africa still has about 80% and above 80% of its electricity derived from coal, and coal is still playing a large part in the economy, we're going to be in trouble, at least globally in terms of our targets, as well as locally in terms of air pollution. So it's one of those steps where the more developed countries are basically saying that this is their offering towards helping South Africa and helping other countries similar to South Africa in their transition, as Thato has already indicated.
Yeah. As big as the number is, 131 billion rand, Thato, it's not enough to complete South Africa's transition to cleaner, greener energy.
Yeah, that's correct, Michelle. I think it's not enough, but I think the fact that this deal was announced on the third day of the COP26 conference, it shows that the negotiations that preceded this conference in SA paved the way for this to be announced. But I think hopefully as the conference unfolds and over in the near future, similar deals with even larger amounts can be announced, and then we can start putting these projects running on the ground so as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way we can meet that greenhouse emission reduction targets.
Yeah. I mean, as good a news story as this is, Happy, insofar as moving away from coal-powered energy, moving to greener sources of energy, communities that rely on coal for their own incomes will be worried about news like this. Can part of that funding be used for those kinds of communities for upskilling in other sectors?
Yeah, I mean, part of the language that you read in the partnership agreement is that some of this money must be focused on what is called a just transition, right? It's supposed to be looking at the different programs. It must be looking at what kinds of plans should be developed whilst undertaking something like decommissioning in an area where you're not going to be further investing in more coal infrastructure. So, for example, We've got a number of power stations that need to be decommissioned because they're at the end of their lifespan. You'd have something like a social labor plan for the particular workers and the local environment. But what this would be able to do is to actually talk to whether or not you're able to transition some of the workers, whether by reskilling, whether by helping them with preferred placement of jobs, as well as any other kinds of incentives that would allow for greater resilience being built for their livelihoods to be maintained. And to a certain extent, what the agreement was really wanting to do is that it wants to also address the social implications or the socio-economic implications for moving away, other than just the technology deployment aspects.
I mean, Thato, does it mean, and I suppose the answer here must be no, that we will move entirely? It's not like we're going to see coal mines closing overnight or closing entirely. What it really means is the better use of coal, the more responsible use of coal in the long term.
You're definitely right, Michelle. I think as Happy just alluded now, so some coal power stations are coming to the end of life, but there's still some which will still be in use. Will still be in use. At least until 2040. I think what this deal hopes to achieve is to accelerate. One is to start procuring renewable energy to diversify our energy mix. Secondly, it's also to diversify South Africa's energy mix, so to gradually move away from coal. So I think in the near term, there will still be reliance of coal, but like the master plan, if you may, it's to gradually, or even at an increasing rate, move away from coal to other cleaner sources of energy.
Yeah. Let me thank you both for your time on this incredibly important discussion. Happy Khambule, Greenpeace Africa, its Senior Climate and Energy Campaign Manager. He, in fact, joins us live from COP26. He's in Glasgow in Scotland for us this morning. And Thato Kola is Economics and Fixed Income Analyst at Matrix Fund Managers. Thank you to you both for your time on that story.